This is another episode of the Pop Culture 223. Back in the studio again. This show, man, they threw me off today. We ain't been talking about a good hour or so
Right.
prior to the podcast.
Right.
But this show is a little different than most of the stuff we got come on here. Usually we talk about kicking it about firearms, community. But it is Black History Month. Come on, give it up.
Sir.
Even though it's short, So,
yes, sir.
I met this dude. I got a guest today. I met this dude. He's a Black author. Like I said, it's Black History Month. He's in the comic book world. I'm gonna let him introduce himself. We met at my job, and I was, me being nosy. He come in all the time. So I was just like, man, what you do? He's like, man, I do comics. I'm like, you do comics? You create comics? So, after that, we just start kicking it, getting into it. So I'm gonna let him introduce himself. And then it's this. So when you introduce yourselves, usually we kind of, Bear's good for this. He kind of cut people off short when they're introducing themselves. So, just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you from, where you come up from, school, high school, what part of Detroit, how'd you got into comics, that little rundown, like a little mini bio.
All right. So my name is Terrell Colbert. I am a multifaceted artist. I do comic books, photography. I'm an amateur director. I came up on the east side of Detroit.
East side.
Yeah. So he was joking about my high school that I went to. I went to Osborne. So
Okay. I
Yeah.
almost went to the Bourne, but I chose otherwise.
But yeah, I've been drawing my entire life. The funny thing about that is probably my first love. My cousin, when I was younger, he drew a picture of Voltron on a Burger King napkin.
Wow.
And when he did that, I was just like enamored. I was like, okay, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Wow.
So I've been drawing for a while. I draw a lot of mature stories. Like I really don't pull back any punches when it comes to writing. I usually I don't check boxes. I just write and draw from the heart, and so a lot of my stuff is aimed towards a mature audience.
Mm-hmm.
So I found out another term because you told me because I asked him, I'm trying to do some research information or whatever. You said it's like horror, sci-fi, and fantasy, right? That's kind of like your genre.
Yeah.
But when I get in here today, y'all talking about what y'all call it? Swim?
Anime on Adult Swim.
Anime on Adult Swim.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what that was.
So that's more so basically if it were in the animation realm, that's what it would be probably featured on, so that you can keep more mature eyes on it rather than putting it on like something like Cartoon Network in the daytime and stuff like that. And when I say horror, sci-fi, and fantasy, it has those elements. So like the book that I let you guys check out, which is called Yum Toast, it's about a succubus. So there are elements of horror in there, you know what I mean, as well as it's also like kind of like a gangster story about a cop pursuing these gangsters in his inner city, and he basically has to fight against the darkness in his heart because of a trauma that happened to him. And the succubus is almost kind of like that evil character on his shoulder, telling him to do things and stuff. So when I write this story, I usually draw up on a lot of background of like dark horror stories, like what elements would come out of that particular relationship between him and this creature. And so like you see the creature turn into different things and also influence him to do certain things and even go off on her own agenda, which is as you can see in the first issue, very explicit. So I mean again, all my stuff isn't just like superhero genre. You know what I mean? My stuff is more so in that particular pool. So if they made a movie about it, it would definitely probably fall into the horror type of aspect.
Okay, so you said you were like in the comic book world. So what was, I looked in it, I don't know if you know this, but what was the first comic book? Like what was, the first comic book that was ever printed?
The first comic book ever
Yeah,
printed?
when it was?
Nah.
1937. The Adventures of Old Buck.
Adventures of Old Buck.
It's Oldham Old Buck or something like that. It was released in like Europe or something.
And what was the Old Buck? What was it? Was it?
I guess it was like an action. It was an adventure. It was an adventure comic.
Oh no, that's my first time hearing that, bro.
And then please look it up because I probably just messed up the word, but Oldham Old Buck. So and then I started looking. I jumped down into it because you
So you
coming
went
on.
down a rabbit hole, really.
I went down a rabbit hole. So what was the first black comic?
The first black comic.
And please do some research because I just like I said I went down a rabbit hole.
I'm at a loss on that one too.
It was called Lions of the Jungle.
Lion
Man. That was a
Lion Man. I have heard of that. Like
Yeah.
I actually saw somebody doing some research on Lion Man, and I think the gentleman that I actually heard talking about it was trying to get the rights to it so he could reissue the comic book because it's been out of press for so long.
1947, I think it was. Hey, Bear, this question is for you. What was the first DC black comic? DC black character.
Ooh, first DC black character? I'm taking this a wild stab here because I'm not a DC guy. What's my man's name? He's he's like the half machine dude that's part of
Cyborg.
Just Cyborg, yeah.
That's your answer too?
Yeah.
No, that's not my
What's your
answer.
answer?
That's mine, Cyborg. I don't know.
Man, I'm putting these. I got some good questions.
Yeah,
This should have been at the end.
Yeah, I'm not a DC guy at all.
I ain't a comic book guy.
I'm not a huge comic book guy, but I've always loved comics though. Yeah.
I'm gonna just say Black Lightning, but probably not.
Green Lantern.
Green Lantern?
Green Lantern was originally black.
That's what it said.
No, it was it was Hal Jordan at first, and then it went to John Stewart. So John Stewart was John Stewart the first black DC comic?
It said the first black character in DC was Green Lantern. That's how I kind of read.
Wow, I can believe that though. Given the
And
time
then Marvel.
DC
So what
started,
was like the first because they said Black Panther was like the first Marvel kind of character.
Did they really?
Yeah, that's kind.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was.
Because I was trying to decide.
I can't remember the year, but yeah, Black Panther was the first, and it was. I want to say either it was around civil rights or right before. Did it give the year?
He said, nah, it didn't. It says it's got to be in something between 1947 and
Yeah,
Because I would have thought it would have been between Power Man and Black Panther.
It was.
Luke
It was. I kind of remember this story, or that it was Black Panther, and I think it was, and that's why I say it was around like the civil rights movement era, because I think that's part of the reason why he got the name. I don't think it was associated with the Black Panthers, but it had something to do with like black empowerment type of thing, and giving black people a character to look forward to. I want to say it was like around that time, like maybe either like right before or right at the time of something like that. Yeah.
Well, I forgot to mention this too, man. One of our affiliates of today's show is Firearm Legal Protection. And like you said, me and Barry carry. So if you are a CPL holder and you carry a firearm, please get us Firearms Legal Protection. They will protect you as long as you protect yourself.
Yes,
So look
sir.
them up in the feed. I'm going to have the information, drop the little coupon link. And then, like I said, just go on there and then you get a discount on your subscription. So please go look up Firearms Legal Protection. As long as you can protect yourself, they will protect you. So I had to throw that in there. So let's get, I got another question.
Wait, I got a question for y'all.
Oh,
Real quick. Now, what do y'all think of characters like Miles Morales?
I love Miles.
Okay.
I love Miles for the fact that
Okay, who's Miles? Which one is Miles Morales?
So Miles Morales is the half black, half Latino Spider-Man. Who's a teenager. He's the one now that, like, when you see the comics, it's Into the Spider-Verse and all that stuff. So I love Miles for the fact that, how do I want to say this? It's like Black Superman or Falcon's version of Captain America, because I like to see the everybody's mainstream hero, be able to be relatable to us or people that look like us. And I like it also the fact that he doesn't just have the carbon copy Spider-Man skill set. Like he's got his own skill set as well. That's different. You know, like if you really look at Miles, I'm gonna ruffle some feathers. But if you really look at Miles probably has a better skill set than Peter Parker. But it's just that Peter just probably knows how to use his better.
All right. Now, I despise Miles and the concept of Black Superman.
Really?
Yeah. You know, I have a better appreciation for him after the first Spider-Man movie that he had, that solo. Like, I thought his character was more fleshed out then.
Okay.
But the idea of repurposing, you know, it feels like it's kind of repurposed material. Like when they take those names and they put like the Black Superman. You know what I mean?
Right.
I would prefer for him to stand on his own identity.
Right. And I knew you was going there, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. But the reason why I still like it, even though with that, is because, like we just talked about, Black Panther being the first Black comic. I hate that they give, to me, to previously, a lot of Black superheroes have names or have storylines that are just like not well put together. They've been kind of thrown out, and they're just there.
Agree.
And there's so many that have made it through. Like you got the Storms, and you got so many others, and you got Spawn and certain others that have been. But there's been so many that haven't that just been given like crazy names or something just to kind of throw out there. And it was like, well, we'll do this for the Black people and put it out there.
Well, that's why I say that. I'm like, okay, put the amount of effort that you put into these other characters into a Black character. Like, I mean, Blade's just sitting there. You know what I mean? Like, why can't Blade basically evolve through the years? He's a freaking daywalker. He's the only vampire that can walk in the daylight.
Right.
So why can't his mutation in a way kind of like evolve over time and he becomes even something greater? But it's like they just stop there. He's like the Black vampire.
Right.
And then the same thing with Luke Cage, and it's like Luke Cage he's got his regular clothes that he wears all day. He doesn't even have a specific suit like Superman has. So my thing is, put the effort into the Black characters, because when you give us a Black Captain America, I think the overall thing, first of all, especially with, I'm going to deviate just a little bit, but the thing with the Little Mermaid, like, now, there could have been like someone in that particular universe that you could have gave her own story. This Black Mermaid could have had her own story. She didn't have to be this.
She didn't have to be Ariel.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, I understand why you did it, and I love the fact that little girls was looking at that and smiling. You know what I mean? But the thing is that if she had her own identity and she wasn't associated with that, she could stand on her own, and that could be something we can take and be like, this is ours. You know what I mean? We don't have to like really share this.
In terms of Miles, I think that's why I like Miles, because again, like I said, he has his own skill set.
He is the outlier. You know what I mean? Because like I said, after that first movie, I was like, they didn't check boxes on this. They actually gave him character development. You know what I mean?
And it's funny you said that about Luke Cage, because, dog, did you ever watch Luke Cage?
Yeah, because I was going to ask him, why did Luke Cage necessarily need a suit? Like, did that make him an actual super? I mean, in that aspect, how you creating comics or superheroes, did he needed a suit?
He didn't need a suit, but he needed branding. He needed something that you look at and you be like, that's Luke Cage. You know what I'm saying? Instead of him just, like, if somebody draws him, you know what I mean? They need some identifying factor in comics to be like, this is Luke Cage. Now, before, he had this yellow shirt, he had like this crown thing, and then he had some chains on his hand.
I was gonna say comic book Luke Cage is different from what Marvel MCU Luke Cage is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I was about to get into. That's the thing that I loved about Luke Cage, but I hated about Luke Cage. I thought the Netflix series, which ironically I went back, and since I'm a Marvel guy, I'm a Marvel fanatic. I'm the guy that literally, you know what I'm saying, probably in like a vein how you would. Some people don't like certain things because it's not this or it's not that, but I want to see it to see how it's done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't care how bad it may be in terms of what your fandom is, but it has a place in the story.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I want to see where that place does, and because some people don't like the Marvels, but there's parts of the Marvels that I can already see that's going to basically lead up to other parts of other movies of the dynasty or the saga that they're telling. So it's like trying to put a puzzle together without certain puzzle pieces and then trying to see the whole picture. You can't do it. But I think that the thing with Luke Cage was, like I said, ironically, I'm back watching that whole Defenders series.
Yeah.
Because once I started to watch Echo, you got to put it on, TVMA to be able to watch that. But when you do that on Disney Plus, it unlocks all the other stuff on there that you didn't know was actually on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dog, I'm like, what? They got Defenders? I'm like, they got Punishers on here. They got this on here. They got.
I didn't even know that. I was about to call them.
Yo.
And be like, what is this lock on my stuff? I pay a bill.
Yeah. So
shit
once I
come
changed it to watch Echo, I'm like, all that other stuff popped up. So I'm going back. So now I'm in Jessica Jones season 1 now, and I done went through Daredevil, blah blah blah. But getting back to it with the Luke Cage thing, it's like they kind of fell it to the same point where it's Luke Cage and he is what he is, but it's just he's pigeonholed to be the local hero.
Yeah.
The small time hero. He's not the big time guy that he really is. Because like if you really, and I'm not big into comics like that. I know one of my homeboys, shout out to my man Rob, who's really big into comics. He got me watching it's on Amazon. It's a comics thing that Amazon
Invincible?
has. No. It's a whole, like, Amazon got like Prime and all. It's a whole comics thing that Amazon has where you can get a subscription.
Oh, Comixology.
Yeah, Comixology. So he had me into that. So I started getting into other comics that I didn't even know existed from being a kid and stopped watching X-Men and stuff to this, that, and the third. So he put me up on it and I started getting back in with House of M.
Yeah.
So as I'm watching and, looking and reading House of M on my phone, they start talking about Luke Cage and bringing him into the fold and so forth. And it's like, then you start realizing like, yo, he actually was a semi-major character in terms of, Avengers and the whole Marvel, shit, as far as the comics go.
Yeah.
But they only did it like when it was like times like that where it's like they're all together. They
missed
never
an
like stand
opportunity.
alone. They didn't do him the justice that they should have done or that they did do for Black Panther. I'll say it like that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying?
They missed an opportunity with Luke Cage because it was one of those, especially around the time the Netflix shows was going. This is a bulletproof dude walking around Harlem.
Black dude.
Bulletproof,
Walking around Harlem.
Yes,
now,
walking around Harlem.
I will tell you now, you want to talk about branding, him with that hoodie on and having bullet holes in
that
it.
was branding.
That was grimy as hell. I was like, that's sweet as that's sweet as hell.
Yeah,
But
Method Man wanted one in all
I'm
kinds.
telling you.
Yeah.
But like when you think of different things that are iconic that stand out, like you look at Spawn.
Yep.
Spawn got chains that comes out of his cape. He got that red cloak. He's branded.
Yep.
If I sat down here and somebody said draw Spawn, I'm like, oh, I got this.
I got this.
But if someone says draw Luke Cage, I'm thinking, which Luke Cage are you gonna really identify?
Which one you want me to
with?
do?
Yeah,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like the one that I grew up with, because I can draw old school Luke Cage. Or are you, thinking about the one that Netflix put out and stuff? And and it's funny that Todd McFarlane, a white dude, created Spawn, which is, man, just a fantastic character, man. Like, there are so many levels to that particular character, the anguish that he went through, him getting murdered, sent to hell, and his best friend hooking up with his wife and shit like that. And he's got a battle between, am I just going to kill people or am I going to fight for justice?
A brother go to jail. His homie
started knocking off.
Yes, think about it.
Homie started knocking off his girl.
Knocking off his girl, man.
That sound like every every trap song.
Yes.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Shit.
So when you creating, like, what inspires you, like, in those topics, like fantasy, horror, and sci-fi? Like, where do you get your creativity from? Like, where do creativity juices come from? Because I mean, you come from, like I said, I know where Osborne at. We all know 7 Mile. We all know that corridor. So, like, where do you get your juices from? Because you said, what is it? Yum toast?
Yum toast, yeah.
And people walking the streets over there.
Yo, bro, that's branding. Like, I just say, look, check out Yum Toast.
Hell
And
yeah.
that's usually where I go. I go to what haven't people seen before and what's unusual. What's going to make people be like, what's going to stick out in people's brains, like, when they hear it. Like, I'm working on something called the Blue Bombshell right now, too. But, when it comes to naming, I'm thinking of what's branding, what's going to make this character stand out. I can work on all the stuff after the fact, but I want to get that first thing down, which is like the name. Like when I hear Spawn, my mind automatically goes there. So that's the first thing that comes out. But when it comes to creating stories and stuff, I really draw upon a lot of old books and old like shows and stuff like that, because I feel like definitely the writing nowadays is so just generic. Like everybody's checking boxes and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So like if I'm going to create a black character, this black character has to be able to stand on their own. They have to exist in this universe. And when you look at my black character, you know exactly who this character is. It doesn't blend in with the rest of the generic characters. Like you remember back in the day when Marvel used to draw all the black people with high top fades and shit. None of them had different hairstyles and stuff like that.
Right.
So like, my thing is like, even with afros today, you know what I mean? Like I'll draw like a afro kind of sloped, or like I'll give a perfectly round one or something like that. But if I do that, I'm doing it for a purpose, you know what I mean? And then, I circle back and I might reinvent a character, and it's probably not my supporting character. But like whenever I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
But whenever I draw upon like any type of like inspiration and stuff, I really fall back to like the old school stuff. Like I like how retro, like the old school Luke Cage comics and stuff like that used to look, like the Iron Fist comics and different stuff like that. So I kind of like pull out that retro appeal. Like even when I'm at shows, I don't like sell my books there. Like I sell prints, I sell stickers and different promotional stuff like that. But like my prints will be like, Transformers, Thundercats, different stuff like that. It'll be a lot of retro stuff. So like I have kids coming up to me.
Artwork and stuff that you've done.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll have kids coming up to me like, oh man, it's the Dinobots. It's this and that and the other. It's like, oh man, my dad had me da-da-da-da. And, that inspires me right there, because it's like, oh, your dad put you on to like the good stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
80 stuff. Right.
Yes.
Right.
And I'll ask them too. And they're just like, I just like the stuff from that era because it just seemed like it was more real. And I'm like,
Well, only why I say, because you said, into the gangster world, and like the Yum Toast, is that the name of the comic?
yeah.
So what's the black character's name?
Blue, Detective Blue.
Detective Blue. So he old school. Like if you see him in the picture, like he got the high tops, he got a fro, he got glasses, and he got a big boy revolver. I said, bro,
There we go.
I was like,
He
so
got that Clint Eastwood.
right, he got
that.
that's what he said, and
44 man.
it's crazy. He said he the old gangster stuff in the back in the '80s, like the city was like like Detroit was gangster,
Right.
back in it. So when I seen him, when you said that, it just made me think like, that's why he looked like that. Like he got like bell bottoms, he got a jacket, he got the glasses. He don't look like
That's
Eddie
dope.
Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop. He got the revolver.
He different.
He different. And I was just like, I was trying to relate, talk to Terrell, like, look, we gun guys. And I said, so, like, why'd you give him that blast?
Because it's a period piece. It fits the style, yeah.
And that was the thing, because it was the idea that, like, if this is going to be, if he's going to have a piece, he doesn't plan to shoot it, but if he has to shoot it, he won't miss. You know what I mean? So I want to give him that particular.
Hey, he got a big old Marks 357 something huge. Tell me he ain't gonna miss.
hey, real quick pause for the cause. Shout out to Dre for bringing through the official snack of the show. One of them,
one of the official snacks of the show.
The official snack.
Yeah, them lifesaver gummies. He brought the exotics this time. We about to get it in. He brought the big bag too.
The big bag. Yeah, he brought the big bag.
So I got a couple questions. One of them is we'll probably want to circling back to the one because you was talking about what the shows was gonna get into like Comic Con and stuff. But what do you ever heard of this guy? What do you think of? And Dre, we're gonna talk off camera because he one of them dudes too. So you would love my man's. What do you think of Afro Samurai?
Oh, I love Afro Samurai.
Dog, so
Afro Samurai is
White bag.
killer, man. Like
I wished it could have went longer than what
Me
it
too.
did. Oh my God, you up on Afro Samurai?
Man, I don't know nothing about comic books. I couldn't even read them right.
So Afro Samurai wasn't really a comic, or was it a comic? I don't know if it was a comic, but I know it was an anime.
I think it started out as a manga, but like I remember Samuel L. Jackson telling the story of how he actually got the role and stuff. He like saw the statue sitting on his manager's desk, and he's like, "What's that?" And he's like, "Oh, that's this anime that they're working on right now called Afro Samurai." And he was like, "You got a voice actor for it already?" He's like, "No." He's like, "I want to be that."
Right.
But
so Afro,
is he in there cussing?
man, he in there.
Yeah, he in there.
He in there doing a lot of.
He in there doing him, dog.
Mother effer blip blip blip.
Listen. I got it. I'll let you get it.
Okay.
It's so
I
good.
gotta get it back.
Yeah, I feel him to the fullest on this one.
Like I let some look. This the nerd I am when it comes to like sci-fi and stuff like that. I had a copy of Hackers on DVD, and I let a friend of mine borrow it, and that was like in 2002, and I ain't seen it since. And I've been wanting to buy it, but I'm like, I can't even ask her about it because I know it's gone. You know what I'm saying? I'm still hurt about it, but whatever. Because to me, the way it was done, that's a cold movie. But that's whatever. Dog, I can let you borrow the Afro Samurai. You know what I'm saying? It's on DVD, so you got to, put it in the
it was
PlayStation,
so
Xbox, or whatever.
fire,
but dog,
too. The idea of the monks and stuff, like how they was just like, they was grimy as hell.
So basically, and like the RZA did like all the music and everything. So it's got like that kind of Wu-Tang kind of vibe
good,
and everything.
man.
Dog, it's literally just that. It's a black samurai, and like a lot of people. So like some people don't think. So a lot of people think that he did it as a black samurai to kind of, bridge the gap because of, it's RZA, Wu-Tang, black, blah, 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 Asian culture, samurai, woo, woo, woo. What a lot of people don't know is at one point in time there were actually a lot of black samurai.
I think people come more aware and more woke to that. Like not woke, but doing education. People like I knew it was a black samurai.
Yeah. They were black Asian people. You know what I'm saying? So there really were legit black samurais out there.
Blackanese.
For real. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't notice. So when they start doing stuff like that, a lot of people think it's just their interpretation of what a black samurai would be or what a black martial artist or a black anime or manga, blah, blah, blah. But it's really off of culture. You just got to dig into it to find it and know it. You know what I mean? But
let me tell you though, if they were to like make that current day, it would be whack as shit. Because when they made that, the dialogue was perfect.
It was perfect.
You know what I'm saying? Like that, any of that could have came off as cheesy or whatnot, but the way they did it, the soundtrack behind it, and the animation, everything was just on point.
Was on point,
and
man.
even the relationship that he had with his dad, being the number one, being dethroned and stuff like that. That's relatable, universal.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like that's what I say. Like when you try to check these diversity boxes and shit like that because you think that somebody won't understand this because this character is not white, this character's not black or Asian or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? If that character's story is compelling enough, they're gonna be relatable. It don't matter.
Yeah, you'll find a way to relate to it. Now, my second one, going back like you talked about there. So I was going to ask you, excuse me, I was going to ask you if you had done or do Comic-Con when it comes. So apparently you do. How is that experience for you, though?
Oh, I love
delve into that a little more because I was going to ask you. You kind of already checked those boxes or answered those questions about do you sell your books and how many
I sell my books mostly online because I have I usually do crowdfunding for it. Just to see if there's an audience for it, and they usually do really well with the crowdfunding. So I keep that that basically online. And at conventions, they can be more kid friendly.
Right.
So I don't like to put that type of material in front of kids.
Gotcha.
So that's why I do a lot of like commission work and prints and stuff like that at shows. So when kids come up to me and they ask me to draw Iron Man
more
or something like
friendly.
that,
You can actually sell more and do the whole. I get
absolutely. All that. Oh man, but it's fun as hell, man. I love when the kids come up and start having a dialogue with me about whatever show they might be watching, or how do you draw this? How do you get here? There's this one kid, like from, it's kind of funny because each year he gets taller, but like he's like,
He still comes through. And
yeah.
you get to see his growth and progression. Yeah.
It's been like the past 2 years. He comes to the convention and he'll seek me out. And one time he actually had me ship a commission to his house because he couldn't stay at the convention that long, so
Gotcha.
he had to have it shipped to his house. But he came up to me the first year. And he had his little character drawn out, and he was like, "Can you draw this character? I just want to see how it'd be drawn in your style." I was like, "Well, what's wrong with your style?" I was like, I like your style. Why don't you
Right.
build on this?" And he was like, "Well, I would just like to draw hands better." So I was like, "Would you like me to draw a set of hands?" He was like, "I want you to draw my character." I was like, "Bet, all right, I'll draw your character." But I drew that character for him, and the next year, his dad told me that he's been using that as a springboard to kind of like improve his stuff. So like I get it, but I definitely didn't want him to be disenchanted. You know what I mean?
Right. So
That's cool that you said, and you said he's a white. I mean, he's
He did. Yeah, this particular kid was white. Yeah.
so it's just dope to hear that they don't care. You know what I'm saying? He
Oh
just-
no, they don't.
They like, hey
It's
man,
about
you
the artistry.
it's about the artistry. You
Yeah.
you creative. You can draw. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? His dad like, hey, go ahead.
You know what I found though? I found that the black kids are a little bit more shy when they come to the booth and stuff. Like their parents are asking the questions, and I generally have to talk to them to get them to open up. Like, well, you know what I'm saying? Let me see your portfolio, and they'll start showing me their stuff on their phone, and I'll be like, oh, this is nice. I was like, I would love to see the physical version of it. Like maybe you can get you a little portfolio, bring it here next time, and we can chop
You
it up.
talking to him, so you let them know it's cool to be nerd.
Yeah, absolutely. Because
And I ain't want to say I don't want to like calling grown men nerds, but it is what it is.
it's popular
man.
now.
Yeah, it's
Geek
popular
and nerd
now.
is
Yeah,
I guess
popular
we
now.
done nerds.
And that's why I said weirdos, all
Yeah,
nerds,
whatever.
whatever, man.
Yeah.
You got to embrace your weirdness and your nerdness,
Absolutely.
no matter what it is.
I got a question, and it's going kind of like going back to like the Yum Toast or any book. Like, how do you balance the storytelling and like creativity to get across a message? Because you got some stories you can read that you like, oh, that was cool, but it was a message hidden in there about social, political, economics, and all that. Like, do you add that, incorporate that into your comics?
I don't focus on the message. I think that a lot of times when you do that, you tend to water down or dilute your creative process. So I think typically, if you're a decent enough writer, you already have that ingrained. You already have the knowledge that, okay, this has to go somewhere. You know what I mean? So when I'm writing, there has to be an outcome, whether it is good or bad. Like in the case of Yum Toast, it's a dark story, so it's not really going to end well. You know what I mean? So that there's that particular concept. You know what I mean? It's just the method of getting there. When you're trying to get to that destination, there should be things that are relatable to people who are like, oh, okay, like boom, so was he trying to tell a story? But at the same time, again, if I am delivering a message, it's subtle. You know what I mean? It's things that I've been taught, as a youth growing up, that I know right from wrong, and this and that and the other, and I'm putting it in there. But I'm not going to inundate my audience with a political message and get them, spoiled on the idea of these characters being put into a box.
So let's go with that. I got a quick couple little questions for dialogue here. So with Yum Toast, and for y'all that can see it,
I'm gonna start using that all the time. I'm at the ring, Yum Toast.
Right.
Y'all hear like Yum Toast.
So who are the two main characters? Are Officer is it Officer or Detective Blue?
Detective Blue.
Detective Blue and the Succubus, right?
Yes.
Those are like the two main. So let me ask you this: how far? Because you answered that kind of what you said. There's an end to it, right? It's not going to end well, but you also said there's an ending.
Mm-hmm.
How far do you see Yum Toast going? Number one. Number two, do you plan on having any, like we kind of talked about and touched on earlier, like any spinoff characters to have their own? Because like you said, a lot of characters come from other introductions in other places. Like a lot of people are just recently, which is still weird for me, but outside of like the genre and people that know, are just now starting to realize that Wolverine wasn't a character until he got introduced in the Hulk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then he was like a character that got introduced. People liked it. So then they started, now he's got his own little Weapon X.
Whoa,
and blah, blah, blah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Wolverine wasn't really originally like X-Men, dude, blah, 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 Weapon X, so forth, the whole thing. That character got introduced in The Incredible Hulk.
Okay.
So then people liked it. I mean, hell, I was a Logan fan from day one from seeing him. Like, dog got claws, they come out his hands, and he cut through everything. What? And he re-heal himself.
Yeah.
But can you see a world or a place where you have spin-off characters that you do that have their own comic line? So where you may have a Yum Toast, and then let's say then you got another line from some other character that was, introduced that's, you know what I'm saying?
What's the guy, the ninja? The ninja with the red band.
Oh,
you got a ninja with the red band?
No, he got a hairy white dude jumping up in a ninja outfit.
Dude, that sounds like another spinoff right there.
What's his name?
well, see, so his name is Rocky Devil. But the thing is that
that's a cold name.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Well, in that particular, let me comment on that Wolverine thing first.
Okay.
I agree with you.
Let me get you.
I agree with you. That Wolverine was like one of my favorites when I was growing up, only because they didn't make him the rock star, the X-Men, until he got super popular.
Right.
But my main two were always Silver Surfer and Spider-Man. Not Spider-Man, but Batman. Silver Surfer and Batman. But I feel like with Yum Toast, I'm probably gonna only just go to 4 issues, only because when you're an indie artist and stuff, you want to work on other projects, and you definitely want to make sure that you don't bore your audience or destroy your story by going overboard with it. Now, in that comic, I am creating spin-off characters that become more interesting. Like April June is one of the characters. Like I'm on issue 2 right now. I brought you guys issue 1, but issue 2 did really well, and I did hear some feedback from guys who have characters that they do like the most in the book. So those are the ones that I'll probably focus on at a later date.
Gotcha.
But right now, I just want to finish the story that I already have in my head. But I do have an idea for spinoff characters, but a lot of times I do try to also isolate a story so that I can jump from story to story. Like this one is called Yum Toast. I have one that is called Ophelia the Wicked, and then I have one called The Blue Bombshell.
Right.
So, I'm trying to make sure that all these characters can stand on their own in their own worlds, just kind of like how The Crow was. You know what I mean? Like he wrote his story, and it was self-contained. So, if I do make a volume 2, it's a whole different story about a different character, or not different character, but related to the same character, but it's a whole different cast of characters.
Now, is there any? And we just got this today, but I almost want to. I'm gonna get your information, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get another copy to actually read, because
I do too.
I hate getting stuff that's why Clips is like that, because it's like I have stuff that I just haven't touched that I want to listen to. Like there's a copy of my man Nick Speed's Beatdown album. It's like the first album he did. It's all vinyl. There's no digital. There's no CDs or whatever. You can only listen to it on vinyl.
Yep.
Well, that was when vinyl first started making a comeback. So of course you don't have record players, blah blah blah. So I've never listened to it.
Yeah.
But it's like it's a gem. You know what I'm saying? But I've since found anyway. But my point is because I don't want to destroy the original copy. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like the artist gave you this. You know what I'm saying? So when he do his thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, I got a one of one, you know what I'm saying, type of scenario, you know what I mean? So it's like the value in that, you know, so not even on a resale, but just the value of knowing that you have that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That's the thing that I keep. Like, man, I got an old Mr. T comic book from when Mr. T had a comic, you know what I'm saying? I got it from those that are unpacked, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So I'm gonna get another copy, and I want to keep following. But
I got a confession to make, bro. Let me make my confession first. I'm sorry, wife. I got a confession. I was in love with Jessica Rabbit, bro.
Hey Hey, man,
I
who
think a
wasn't?
lot of us were.
Who wasn't
Bro,
back then,
I
man?
got a confession. I'm sorry, baby.
Who
I know
wasn't?
I thought I told you everything. But this is a little weird. I was in love with Jessica Rabbit, bro.
Shoot, I think we
Someone
all
Roger
was.
Rabbit, bro,
Yeah.
came out with Jessica Rabbit. It's like, there's a chance a weirdo can get one like that.
Yeah, you know
For
what
real.
though? That what pains me about Disney now too, man. They trying to bury that those characters. I'm like, you know how fun. She was definitely
Right.
easy on the eyes,
Right.
but the whole
I was like,
concept.
damn, Rabbit
of
look
this-
like that?
Right, this corny ass rabbit got a badass chick like Jessica
Yeah,
Rabbit.
Patty.
Bugs, what's up?
Pulled her with ease too. Just from being
I'm
him.
telling you, she was all in.
Yeah, man, that's wild. But yeah, I can see just from like you talking and telling about it till I get to read it. I can see Officer Blue being a crossover character in another book, like making a quick cameo about something. You know what I'm saying? Not being a part of it, but like in an issue of this, you something. Here come Officer Blue talking about the blah 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 blah. Then he's gone. You know what I'm saying?
I like those
kind of how like some
characters.
of the other movies do, like with that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And I love those characters that can play the background where they push the story along, but you don't notice it. And then, there are specific people who are just pick them out, be like, yeah, this is my favorite right here. Like Irene, she's like one of the main characters too, but she plays the background so well that nobody really picks up on it.
Irene.
Irma.
Rosario Dawson's character in all the Defender series.
Oh,
The nurse chick.
Night Nurse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dog, you don't realize it until you start watching, but like she's in every
is.
Netflix one. She's in
is.
Daredevil. She's in is she in Jessica Jones? Yeah, she's in Jessica Jones, I believe.
Oh, she's so fine
Yeah,
too, man.
Yeah, she fine.
Hey, you know what though?
Love you,
It
baby,
did
but
like
yeah,
there was this exchange. Like now, this was some really good dialogue. There was this exchange between Luke Cage and Night Nurse, where because Luke Cage was getting all the girls,
Right,
and stuff.
right.
But like they at the
Buff
coffee
Shooter.
shop.
Buff Shooter.
Right, Buff Shooter. Right.
We got a homeboy called Buff Shooter. Look just like
He's
like
showing up
Cage.
as Luke Cage. I ain't
Yeah.
We call him Luke
They
Cage.
get ready to
I
walk
didn't think
across
about
the
it as
street.
Buff Shooter.
They get ready to walk across the street in the first series, and he like, yeah, he talking to Night Nurse. He like, you know what though? Maybe we can get some coffee sometime or something. And she look at him and she like, I am not gonna have sex with you. she was like, you don't even drink coffee.
She
we had breakfast. I saw you.
Right. She know the play because I remember because when he first did it with Missy, he was like, we should go get coffee. She was like, I don't drink coffee. I was like, me neither. Shit,
They went down through there
let's
too.
get it. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay, bet. I see where this goes.
I was like, oh, this gonna be one of those kind of shows.
This was funny, and that's what I liked about her character because her crossover appeal for that, it was like she was in all of them.
Yeah.
And the way she did it, or the way they did it for her, she had them same kind of elements with all of them because it's like she basically, I ain't gonna say was in love with all the dudes, but like she had a thing with Matt. They
Yep.
never had, they never got busy. She was with Luke, but she was in love with Luke.
Yep.
Her and whatchamacallit, Iron Fist had more like a kind of cool relationship, but it still was like an intimate relationship with Danny, though. You know what I mean? So it was
That
like,
was probably one of the least ones I like. The Iron Fist one.
everybody did, but I so like we said, like we talked about with Miss Marvel, I think that one got rushed.
Yeah, that's what I.
That one got rushed because they wanted to do that Defender project. So they was like, you know what? Hurry up and get this out. Just hurry up and do that. That's like let's say we got a show we trying to do with somebody that's a big wig with 4 or 5 different industry dudes, and they like let's say we
the
had
guy was
big
perfect.
production, and they like what? Hurry up and get this one out of the way because we got to get this over here.
Yep.
And I think that's really what happened. So it got rushed because I could see where it could have been great.
The guy was perfect
The
for
guy
it.
was perfect, and everything was good, but you could tell from the way that they did the other 3, it definitely was rushed.
They didn't take their
because
time with it,
Defenders
yeah.
was better than what Iron Fist was. Man,
Oh man, when Jessica Jones threw that fucking SUV through that diner window, I was like, okay, I'm locked in.
So let me ask you this: what were some like hurdles you had to get over, especially being a creator? And I said content creator because that's what videos or whatever. Like, what's some of the hurdles you had to get over becoming a comic book creator or author, and actually even with the TV shows, the shorts? Like, what are some like hurdles you had to get over?
Myself, because sometimes you can get in your own way, especially when it comes to criticism. You got to be able to like realize who's just talking just to be talking and who's actually giving valid criticism. Like I've had a lot of people like comment on my YouTube page about my short films and stuff. But there are a bunch of people who will say some garbage comments and stuff, and I used to take that to the heart when I first started YouTube. But after a while, I would sift through the comments, and I would find some comments where they're like, "Bro, like, you got to pay attention to how you line up these shots and stuff, because you know how, like, when you're shooting a film, like, I forget exactly what the term is called, but when two characters are having a dialogue, they have to be positioned on two sides of the screen. Like, they both can't be on this side of the screen because it's jarring to the viewer. And that's something that I didn't pay attention to at the beginning.
Mm.
But it made my conversations more fluid. Like, after I, started paying attention to how I lined up shots and stuff like that. And we discussed the audio thing and stuff. But yeah, like, just listening to valid critiques and stuff, that was the one thing I had to get over. Like, not every critique is to just shit on you. You know what I mean? Some critiques are
Right.
to make you better. You know what I mean? But you got to have that discernment on how to be able to accept constructive criticism, and also connections. Like, you just can't connect with everybody. Some people that you link up with and stuff, you get to learn from them. You get to learn, you get to grow. There's good conversation. But if somebody is stagnant and they're, because I did have a couple different partners and stuff, and some partners they kind of wanted me to just basically do all the work, and they really wouldn't contribute. And for the longest time, I'm like, well, this is part of the creative process. You know what I mean? I would just write it off and stuff. But I had to start becoming selfish to my time. You know what I mean? Because I'm not getting no younger. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of start having to get selfish with your time, but realize what's beneficial to you and what's not. You know what I mean? So you got to kind of cut off that fat, and not be so caught up on feelings about it. If somebody is like hurt behind it and stuff, you know what I mean? It can't be the thing that you're hung up on. You know what I'm saying? Because some business connections just don't work out, and that's just the way
Right.
it is.
Well, I
Basically,
relate. Oh, go ahead.
no, I want you to see, but basically what I get from that is not worrying about the internet trolls, because
Yeah.
there's gonna be a lot of people. You gonna have more
hmm
in some of them things. You gonna have more trolls than you are gonna have real, input, and you got to surf through all the troll BS to
Man,
actually get to the input.
when we put out fan films, like, those are the most popular things. Like, we put out a Harley Quinn fan film, a Domino fan film, and there was and a Gotham City Sirens fan film. And it was funny because we would always get this positive feedback from the nerd community. Everybody be liking it and stuff. And we noticed on every single one of those, there's one dislike. So there's this one person who's hitting the thumbs down just because they want to be a part of the no crowd, the negative crowd. So it's kind of just like, get over it, put it out there, let people see it. You know what I mean? You can look at the feedback and stuff like that, but don't take it to heart.
Well, like, going down this, like I said, content creating, putting stuff on Instagram, put stuff on YouTube, just going down that whole like, getting out your own way. That was definitely like one of my things, because we would spend all this time creating all this film, all this role, and we spend all this time creating a video, even with the podcast, chopping it up, whatever. You put it out there, and you looking at the thing like, no likes.
hmm
Right.
It's like, no
Five
likes.
people, 10 people,
No,
15.
and they ain't even like on YouTube, like on Instagram, you be like, man, only got 2 likes, 5 likes. And you
Mhm.
like, you spent all that time on
Mhm.
YouTube. If I get one person to like it or look at it or this thumbs up, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And I don't, it shouldn't be like that. I just put it out there, keep going. But that one, like, okay, cool. One person looked at it. One person liked it.
Well, see, and then here's the thing, like when I had first, when you first told me about your podcast, when you said pop culture,
Mhm.
I immediately thought something different. You know what I mean? So it's also about your messaging. So, like, I think, like, so, like, you guys talk about firearms and stuff. So, like, sometimes I think it's good to throw curveballs in there. So, like, it, like, say for example, if you had a show about that big ass revolver that the Joker pulled out in the Batman 1989 one. You know what I mean? So if y'all had a whole discussion about that, you know what I'm saying? I know geeks would be interested. Like even if y'all was discussing how ridiculous it was and how
I think we've actually had those or talked about doing stuff like that before. Yeah,
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Movie guns and all kind of stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Because I found that, you know, I sometimes like when I put out my own movies, the stuff that came out of, because a lot of people on my YouTube page will be like, why don't you do your own original stuff, da 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 da, after they see like the fan film stuff, and I put out my stuff, crickets, you know what I mean?
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? Like I have seen growth because of the fan films. So like if I put out the fan films, they're like, oh, okay. What else he got? So then they go through and then they'll find that stuff. And then my hardcore base, which is like, say, I got like 2,000 subscribers to my film page. Now, out of those 2,000 subscribers, all of them will watch the fan film. But for my original films now, 400 of them will watch. So now I know my base is
stuff. Yeah.
So now I know what my solid base is.
Well, you know,
I think a lot of it is just understanding that it's going to take time too.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
well, like even when now somebody say, okay, well, the questions you have, I take criticism because this ain't no blueprint for this, right? We get on here, we talk, we have constructions, we have conversations, organic. But if you say something and you give me like, you tell me like, okay, this or fix this or look at this, like give me something. Just don't say, well, you need to do this and don't say nothing about it. That means you probably just hating, or give me some good criticism so I can add to it. You know what I'm saying? To add to it or be different or ask different questions or do some different. Just don't say, well, you need to fix the format. Okay, how?
Yeah.
See, and you know what I think the whole thing for me is too, and I think all of us as content creators can kind of get from this or just kind of take this a little bit. And I had to, because I'm exactly where you at, like you said, like you do all this, that, and the third, or you put this work in, or you put this out there, like, hey, this is my product, this is what I do. And then like you only get like a handful of likes or a handful of comments or whatever. But I also look at the tune of who's commenting or how they're commenting or how you're recognized. Because like recently, like as small time as I know I am, as far as like likes and people and so forth on Instagram, like I'll jump on somebody's live to see what they're talking about or on somebody's, page or whatever and comment something. And they acknowledge me like, I'm not gonna say on their level, but on their level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As far as like notoriety or people know. Like the time I told you, I hopped on. I can't think of the dude's name right now off the top of my head, but it probably comes to me, probably Texas Totem or somebody like that. And as soon as I logged in on the thing, it was, hey, Urban Firearm Defense, what up, though? Blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't like hey, just acknowledging people. It's just the way he said it. I could tell it was like, dang, that dog actually, know who I am, kind of.
Yeah.
Because you'd be surprised at like who does or doesn't pay attention to your
Well, you're a part of a community.
Yeah.
Like when you're a part of a community like that, like with the nerd culture that I'm a part of.
Right.
Like, sure, it might take a minute for me to get to where I want to be, but if you're part of that community, they're going to eventually start uplifting you.
And
they're going to give you acknowledgement. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And you do have to be vigilant by jumping on those lives and jumping into other discussions to kind of like, throw your brand out there so people can recognize
and other people can see you.
And that's one thing I probably my homie's like, man, do live, and I just like, man, I jump on live and 4 people be on there. I'm just like, this ain't. Well, I'll be on there, be like, there's 4 people on here. Bye. Fuck y'all.
And me and Dre be 2 of them.
Right. Dre, and I was like, all right, Bear, jump on here and talk to me, dog. I was just sitting here, let's talk about something. But I got another question. This is because I use this too. How you think AI is playing a part in being like creating stuff like comics or characters or even scripts?
I got to take on that. Go ahead, man. You the man to do this.
Well, I shit on AI because I don't respect the way it's being used currently. Like anytime, oh my God, I can't tell you how many people didn't sent me like pictures of dogs with Superman outfits on and shit like that they created through AI. And I'm just like, look, it's one thing if a lot of this stuff is generated from original content or your own. Say if you're the artist and you took all your images and you put it into that blender. But if you're taking shit from the internet and you throwing it into a blender and then you can see the watermark on the side, but it's been distorted because AI can't process the watermark and shit. I'm just like, I'm over that. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that I think that with AI, it's one of those things where this is a similarly line, kind of. You know what I mean? You're getting your product, but I think with actual artists, you're getting hospitality. You're getting people who are catering to your needs. You know what I mean? They're not giving you a product that's being duplicated like on an assembly line. They're giving you something that is original and that is that's got love that was put into it. Like the AI stuff really still feels cold to me. Like I know this is the worst it's probably going to ever be, and then it's just going to get better from here.
And that's the part that scares me though, because
Same here.
Because to me right now, like the way it's being used on a lot of stuff, it's like a higher form of catfishing.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that 110%.
You look, you like,
especially with
what?
the voiceover
What?
shit. Yeah.
It make you kind of look back like, nah, this can't be. And then I'm telling you, man,
Yes.
because I can already see it in that direction. Like when I can't lie, just to be curious. Like when Apple first started popping it off with it, I was curious to how I would look at some of that stuff. 'Cause some of that stuff did look cool, but at the same time, in the back of my head, I'm thinking like, Robot.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, all this other stuff, and I'm like,
Terminator.
You know what? Terminator, Matrix. I'm like, nah, y'all ain't about to get my AI version body and be able to catfish me or whatever. 'Cause that's what a lot of that stuff is doing. Like, especially the audio factor of it now too.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's the worst. The best/worst part about it, dude. Like,
And see, you got guys like me who've been in the trenches for like years, you know what I mean? Like working on their craft and stuff like that, trying to get better as artists. And now you got dudes showing that up at comic book conventions with some computer pumping out like these, AI illustrations and stuff. And now a couple of conventions have shut that shit down. Like, we only sponsor guys who are actual artists.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Really?
And not the AI stuff. I'm sure there will probably be conventions for that. People who
Right.
can go to conventions and get AI art. But I think right now, especially with comic book conventions, they want the guys who actually drew the comics by hand or, had some
use a computer or the tablet or whatever it is.
writers and artists right now. You know what I'm saying? I think that it's a smart move to kind of separate that, you know what I mean? Because it's the same thing where they had a guy who was showing up to conventions who was who was selling T-shirts where he had took people from these are artists that I'm sitting next to, who he's taking their artwork, printing it on a T-shirt, and he's selling it at conventions and stuff. You got artists going around checking them like, dog, I drew that.
Wait a minute, time out. Rewind. He was taking artists that was he just happened to grab their stuff from somewhere and was
From the internet.
and was putting it on T-shirts and selling it.
Yes, that is why we're very some artists are very secretive about what they're doing. Like I put out a lot of my if I draw a series of prints, I'll put out the old prints and I'll keep my new prints for my new consumers at the comic conventions. Because yes, like if you put your stuff on your social media, there's some guy who's going to save your image and then he'll slap it on a T-shirt and you you turn up and look around at a comic convention. They're selling it on at a convention. Sometimes they'll even sell it online. Some of those sites get shut down, and sometimes there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, like what wasn't in Detroit? Was it the Lions T-shirts?
Yeah, they was talking about the bootleg Lion shirts and stuff.
They had took like about $60K off the street,
Something like that.
Yeah, I seen that. They was just like bootleg. Well, I guess people trying to make money, but yeah. That at a convention, that's a no-go.
Yeah.
Y'all team up, y'all got gangsters start walking down the hall like, we about to go get it. Hey, y'all, let's piled up. School. Remember this? Woo.
Because sometimes, especially
Nerds
like
link
with,
up.
You already know.
with fan art is different. Like if you drawing a picture of Megatron, in your own version, you have some legal leeway there because it's your artwork, but it's it's in the public eye and it's your interpretation of it. As far as the artwork is concerned, and I think that is leeway enough. But yeah, when you just totally just start stealing people from artist alleys artwork and try to repurpose
it's
it.
funny that you say that because I didn't. The new Transformer with Bumblebee, that like they went from Transformers and then they went to that new one with Bumblebee with the gorillas or whatever it was.
Yeah, Beast Wars.
I can't. The old one, they looked at more gangster. Like Optimus Prime, all that, he was gangster. This new one
Wait.
this new one with the Beast Wars, he looked all soft. Like,
I need
like
your input
my
on
man
this,
come
Dre.
out with the thumper and say some old slick straight shit on him. Woo, woo. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to do this to
Dre.
you.
You got to come over here and get this mic, man. That's Dre shit right there.
The Transformers.
I mean, I like the I like Transformers. Saying I didn't like
get this mic, man. I need your input.
I didn't like the Beast Wars how they did Bumblebee and everybody else. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Dre,
we only got 15 minutes, man.
I know, man, but I just need a quick input on Dre because I was about to ask him something about commissioning like a Rodimus Prime or something or a Galvatron for my brother. But
those my joints.
But you understand what I'm saying? Like Optimus Prime was gangster in the other ones. He wasn't that gangster in that Beast Wars. To me,
typically
visually, I ain't talking about the story. I'm talking about visual.
I typically just mess with G1. I don't really dive off into the movies, man. Like I thought the first Transformers movie was dope. After that, I don't watch none of them.
Look, we ain't got time for your shenanigans, Dre.
Oh man.
I know you ain't talking to me about no time, man.
No, hey, that's Bear. Hey, that's Bear.
Hey, it's my fault this time. I ain't gonna lie. It's my fault this time. Look, I'm just gonna simplify it for you. Authentic Dre and this motherfucker real. First off,
The authentic Dre. Here.
I wasn't really into Beast Wars either.
Okay.
But the Beast Wars is pre Optimus Prime. That's why Optimus Prime kind of acquiesced to the gorilla dude. Because that was early in Optimus Prime before he became what you got accustomed to seeing in the Michael Bay stuff where he was that
Gangster,
dude. It's the difference.
A little bit more aggressive. I was just talking about the Optimus Prime and the Michael Bay to that one. It's like, man, this dude look. He like this is K through 8.
But that's because
I want the street Optimus.
no, that's because Michael Bay deviated from what Transformers was supposed to be.
Hardcore, he deviated.
Like people like me that grew up, like literally started from the beginning. That's what the Bumblebee and the newest one were doing. People like us who know the hardcore Transformers who didn't care about you redesigning other robots, giving them other people names.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think, Mirage was a Formula One racer when I grew up.
Yeah,
and now
he
you
was.
making him some type of little roadster and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Even Devastator. Remember in the first one, he was just a bulldozer?
That's offensive to people like us that know what the real characters were. That's where they're trying to go back. Even with the new one that's about to come out, Transformers 1.
Oh, my God.
Where they're going to talk about, they're going to talk about before Optimus Prime was, before he became Optimus Prime, he was, what the fuck is it, Orion Pax or something?
Yep, Orion Pax.
When him and Megatron was first beefed out before everything started. So yeah, everything, the next Transformers 1 is going to take you from the beginning to when the war started to help you understand everything else. So when they reboot it, you're going to see all like G1 stuff that you can relate to. It is, because Michael Bay screwed up a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he did.
Changing their appearance and stuff. That's why people be confused sometimes.
So the Beast Wars is what they supposed to look like.
Beast Wars is prior to, if you look at the movie, Beast Wars was like a million years. It's a million years difference.
Okay.
And they were like back in time and they've been there. Like the Beast Wars, even through all the Transformers that you've been watching, they were there. They were just out the way because that's how they tried to spin it, because they've been there for like millions of years and they never.
When they gonna do the whole dinosaur joint? Cause that was my shit.
The Dinobots.
Dumb.
But you're gonna get that after the reboot. Like they'll start.
This is
putting them
Cybertron.
in the right way.
Yeah, they on the one he talking about, Transformers 1. That's gonna be Cybertron. So like that, you remember Bumblebee? How that movie started off, where you saw them all fighting on Cybertron and stuff. That's what we getting. We getting a whole movie like that. All the human elements and stuff. That's out of the way, so we can
see where it came to birth.
Yes,
of
so
it.
we can.
You'll
see
never see Earth probably till the end of the movie.
Yeah, And I'm all for it. I want to see how they get to,
All right,
being
Jay, get up outta here.
gladiators and stuff.
But I wasn't dissing it. I was just like, man, he was gangster, you know.
We just had to like you, man.
Yeah, he came in. Now he coming all looking. He looked K through 8.
Hey, man,
I wanted
knew
to
I knew we had a case expert in the building, so I was
Yeah,
like,
he a G1 fan.
let me bring in the man, the
told you.
maestro.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. That was fire.
Hey, so you want to get into that one
Yeah,
video
man,
real quick
we
before
had
we
to-
close it out?
Listen, we about to jump into this acorn cop idea, man. Like, what was Buddy doing, man?
Yeah, we had fun with that, so we gonna.
Like, I guess my thing was he so like tuned in or so like on edge
Oh my God.
that the acorn hit the
Yeah, you saw that?
The acorn fell on the car. Was he like, hey man, we on the wrong side of the tracks?
Hey, I'm gonna play it.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired!
3 tactical rolls.
Shots fired!
Gun up.
Popped up, goes to one knee. He's shooting at his own damn squad car.
He A prone. He down in the A prone.
He down prone.
Oh, drop the gun. Oh, you get DQ for that at Axe.
He dropped his mag.
There's a civilian in there handcuffed.
Then threw his gun.
You
on
get
the ground,
DQ,
put
you
it
drop
on
the gun like that, bro. You going home.
Oh, I'm pretty sure. He'd have dropped the mag, threw it on the ground. All
Tactical breath. What did I just do? I'm hit. Listen.
Shots fired. He resigned after that.
Yeah, he resigned, but I was
trying to save face. He about to get.
I just didn't understand like it was one acorn. There wasn't a bunch of like boom 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 boom. You know how they fall? You be like, okay.
It was like 2, maybe 3 acorns at the top of his squad car, and then they didn't even make that loud of a noise. He just went off.
Do you know how much stress he had to be in
Bro.
to even hear acorn and just go
You got the
berserk?
suspect subdued in the
Already.
back of your squad car. I mean, like, did he James Bond the shit? Did he just like he respawned a gun and just?
Right.
So this the mess. Backstory a little bit, right? Girlfriend called, said reported his car stolen. The boyfriend took it. Like, so what was that? Was an argument? She was mad at him. Whatever. The cops respond. I get it. They put him in the back of the car, handcuffed. Whatever. That's another situation. But dang,
Yeah, that's
that's gonna be forever be called the Acorn Hood. Like, dog, don't go there. The Acorn's gonna get you.
right.
The
The
acorn
acorns gonna
cop.
get you, dog. Acorns, dog.
But then they dump off in the car.
Your man let off like 2.5 Hondo rolls, as I like to call it, from SWAT, dog. He just, man, not Hondo. What was my man's name? What was the lead character's name in SWAT, the movie?
No,
No.
the white guy.
Yeah, the white dude.
Oh, shit. I don't remember.
Hondo. We're gonna call him Hondo
The
Rolls.
Hondo rolls.
The Hondo rolls.
Jesus.
But see, the bad
Street. That's what was street.
But the funny thing about it, I guarantee you, everybody in the community was like, 1, 2. Damn, he rolled 3 times.
He was yelling he was hit.
Yeah.
Listen.
Right.
Yup.
He was like, shit, I was
I'm
trained
here.
for this. Let's go.
Wait,
roll.
That's why his partner started dumping
And
like
then
that.
laid out like he really was hit. Like,
That dude had adrenaline going through his body, and he just said to himself, I
There-
think it was an acorn.
There's an extended version of that where they're having a conversation with him after the fact, and he's like leaning up against the house. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
he's leaning up against a house, breathing hard and shit, trying to tell his story. It's like, bro, you gonna have to
you gotta answer for this.
you gonna have to tell this acorn story. I don't give a fuck how you spin it now. That shit is on video.
Damn.
I'm just like, yeah, he's recently fired and da. But it would kill me when the video showed the one acorn hitting the top of the car.
Resigned.
Resigned. Listen,
I'm
that loss is
boy.
about to be. I'm just tripping that he ain't like kind of like in no trouble.
His
Like
girlfriend was hollering too.
Give it
She
time.
thought
She probably
her
will
she
be.
thought her man was out of there.
she wish she better make that call. I bet you that.
I'm telling you, you gotta be careful when you be making that call and shit.
And
Is it really that,
Serious? You mad at him because he didn't pick up the call or send text
Right.
back or whatever? But
I mean, when somebody scuff your finger and run 3 blocks to get away from you and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, it's dangerous for us out here. And you still get in trouble?
Still
Damn.
in the field.
So look, we bought at we at almost the end, man. Like I would say, y'all talked about a good 2 hours prior to the podcast. Bear trying to kick me off. I don't understand.
It was about an hour, but hell, we over an hour now. We done went over time.
Okay.
But yeah, that's
Whatever. So look, Terrell, tell us where they can find you at. They can, follow especially your page, your short films and all that good stuff. I don't know if you're on Instagram.
Yep, I am on Instagram.
Okay.
You can also find me at lastsuncomics.com. That has all my social media accounts and stuff on it, as well as my store where you can find my books and prints and everything.
I'm gonna lock that in right now. You said last, like LAST?
Yep, suncomics.com.
So that's all. So it's based like a link tree. They can find all your.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Cool. Like I said, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Yep.
Like I said, you've been a good sport, man. You and Barry really jumped off into something. I'm sitting here, cause I was like, man, I seen the comics. I was like, man, I don't know which way we about to go with this.
Man, I asked you
this-
at the beginning,
this-
I love geek stuff, man. I can talk about that all day.
He was like, yeah, I know, because I was okay. So when you seen the Pop Culture Podcast 2 to 3, what did you think? Like, what was your first impression?
Pop culture, I associated it with, just a bunch of geek culture type stuff, like, talking about, shows and comics and different stuff, cartoons, stuff like that.
Well, you came on the show. We threw him a curveball.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was trying to say. We talk about guns, we geek out, but I thought it was you came in there. I was just like, look, black comic. I want to hear your story. So
I appreciate
we got
that.
other interests besides just guns too. So
Yeah.
that's why it's for the culture.
it's
we
for the
talk
culture.
about everything.
We kind of talk about everything.
I love the seasoning, man. Y'all were like very gracious hosts, so I really
Appreciate it.
appreciate y'all
Thank you.
having
Right.
me.
So
on.
I hope
Thank you
everybody
for coming,
enjoyed
too.
it. I was more of a listener than I was. I don't know. Maybe I was just production dude. Just set the camera.
I love Cam's commentary, man. He just be like soaking up everything.
Because I'm sitting here like, the camera on me, I ain't seeing shit. I'm just listening to you bums over here talking about. I was like, listen, man. I know Wolverine and Storm. Shit. Hell. Y'all talking about names and all that crap. I don't know none of that shit. My homeboy is called Buff Shooter. He look like Cage.
Buff Shooter. He sure does look like Luke
Look like
Cage. Oh my
Cage.
god.
So
Oh my god.
I hope the audience enjoys the curveball we threw him today. You know what I'm saying? We could have.
And I'm gonna get you the Afro Samurai dog. When you watch it, you can be like, "Damn, it's wild."
Right, y'all talking about the dynamite and what's your boy name?
Dynamite. Oh, Michael Jai White. Yeah,
Michael J. White. Do we got time? Well, he had a little issues with Michael J. White. He said Michael
I
J.
ain't had
White.
no issues with him. Like, look,
Oh, yeah, okay.
I don't want no smoke, Mike.
Cat Williams, you ain't talking about me. What's going on?
Right.
Boosie say I don't want none of that smoke.
Nope.
Boosie say
None.
I don't want Cat Williams. I don't want none of that smoke. Cat Williams. I don't want none of that smoke, man. But it was cool, man. I learned a lot. Listen, we laughed, we joked. I told him at the end of the day, though, we talked a lot of jokes. We kick it.
Right.
It's more of an open concept, but you gave me some ideas, man. That would be a dope little video to do about the Joker and all the comic book guns and all that stuff. So you got to work on that.
Movie guns and stuff like that.
Movie
Yeah.
guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
built
pulled.
into
I
the
don't even
rides,
know what
too.
that gun would even be called because that thing kept going.
He pulled it with
One-handed.
Yeah.
You cannot shoot a right
He
hand.
used it later. The flag came out.
right, and it was shorter.
Boom, bing. The whole comic book. Boom, bing. Guns went. But that's it from us, man. Thanks for tuning in. Please hit that like button and subscribe button so quick, so fast.
Yes, sir.
And like I said before, game recognize game. We recognize you, so please recognize us. And we out.